Louis Beans came to the Cape Cod Marina for free hot dogs, nothing more. 3 hours later, he stood beside a wreck called Sea Problem, touched the rail and said, "She's got character." Then the deck collapsed, and one leg dropped straight through the floor while Frank stared from the dock. It had started near the fuel dock, where Louis was hunting a second hot dog. A salesman pointed him toward the oldest slips and smiled at Sea Problem, a peeling boat with cracked glass, a loose bumper, and its engine sitting in a shopping cart. Louis said, "Just looking." 20 minutes later, with mustard still on his thumb, he was signing the contract. Frank arrived just in time to see the deal close and pointed at the shopping cart. The engine is in a shopping cart. That should have ended everything. Instead, Louis transformed. He bought a captain's hat, binoculars, and a clearance boat horn, climbed onto the slanted deck, spread his arms, and declared, "From now on, call me Captain Beans." By evening, he was inviting guests for a sunset cruise on a boat that had not moved in years. At 5:40, with the sun dropping and guests gathering, Louis finally turned the key. Nothing. He tried again. Nothing. On the third try, the steering wheel came off in his hands. He set it down carefully and said, "Okay, that's cosmetic." Frank folded his arms. "Cancel it." Louis answered, "History favors the bold." Before anyone could stop him, Louis recruited 2 confused guests and a bait shop teenager to shove Sea Problem loose. It scraped free, and he jumped aboard shouting, "Captain Beans is officially at sea." Then the current caught them. The dead ignition failed again, the loose wheel spun uselessly, and Frank discovered the anchor was not attached. The only thing that worked was the horn. Louis hammered it while drifting toward polished yachts. When the harbor master yelled, "Why?" Louis shouted, "I'm signaling distress." He tried steering with a pool skimmer like an oar. Frank yelled, "That's not how boats work." The pole snapped, the hull thudded into dock after dock, and people started running. A Coast Guard boat finally towed Sea Problem home like a punished dog. 10 minutes later, Louis sat on the dock beside his half-sunken purchase while Frank asked what he had learned. Louis said, "Boats are unbelievably high maintenance." Frank looked at the shopping cart. The engine was still inside. After a pause, Louis muttered, "It had potential."